All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another week of Saturday School. Thank you for tuning in. If you are here live on the broadcast, or if you are actually tuning in via YouTube at a later time, thank you for tuning in. We're actually about to get going on this awesome journey. So Saturday School, I hope you're ready, got your learning caps on, because we're going to share some awesome stuff. The first thing we are going to talk about is just have a few announcements, and then we will move forward into the lesson. So first and foremost, Saturday School was started as a help to members of the Inland Empire WordPress group. So here we go. I'm actually sharing the announcements here. So it's hosted by the Inland Empire WordPress group and Various Smith, myself. And so what Saturday School is, the Inland Empire WordPress Meetup group, we are a group of WordPress enthusiasts here in the Inland Empire. We'll talk a little bit more about that right now. So what is the Inland Empire WordPress Meetup group? We are WordPress enthusiasts from the Inland Empire. We meet once a month, every first Tuesday of the month. We meet in person. We have a meetup coming up this first Tuesday coming up February the 2nd. I believe it's February 2nd. So come out and check us out in Riverside, downtown Riverside. We also meet via Livestream, which is today. This is what we're doing right now with the Saturday School. And we meet, you can also find the archives on YouTube. We also meet in our Facebook group the rest of the time. Come on the Facebook group for online help and support for your issues. It doesn't matter if you've been working with WordPress for a short time, not at all, many years, you're welcome. Welcome to come learn. You're welcome to our family. So why Saturday School? Why am I doing this Saturday School every morning in a consistent way? Because I just want to fill in the gaps of learning that the members of the Inland Empire WordPress Meetup group had. And like if you have any gaps in your learning and you're just tuning in on the YouTube channel, then this is part of helping you to extend your learning and really understand what's going on with WordPress, get further acclimated to how WordPress works, and reach your goal. Whether it be like you building a website for your own self, and or maybe for a hobby, or even for your business. WordPress is it's a great platform, and so some people use it for their business. A lot of people use it for their businesses. You may want to just blog. You may just want to have a space on the web where you can put your thoughts and share them with the world. That's something you can do with your WordPress website. And so Saturday School will help you with that. All right, so in Saturday School, we cover the basics of WordPress, theme setup, administration. So how to get your theme set up and looking the way it looked when you purchased it or download it. So you got your beautiful theme. You see it on another website. It's all set up and everything is like beautiful, but you don't know how to get that theme to look exactly the way that it looked on the other website. Saturday School is to help with that, to administer your website. So we do cover some of the fundamentals of administering, like creating posts, creating pages, adding plugins, configuring plugins, all those things. You don't need to touch a lick of code. And then we also cover some of the accompanying tools. The accompanying tools would just be, something like ServerPress, our desktop server that we use on a regular basis to set up a website on our actual computer. We don't have to buy a host initially. We don't have to buy hosting space. So I could set up my computer, set up my website on my computer and not even have internet connection. And I will always have a backup. We cover the fundamental principles of understanding how to use WordPress as a content management system. So understanding that is important because, images, text, all of these pieces of content that you're adding to your website, you need to know how that works. You need to know where it's located in the back end of the website, how to insert that information. Maybe there's a featured image on a post. If you don't know how to set that up, then you won't get the entire picture of setting up your website proper. So these are all the things that we cover in Saturday School. Really, mostly fundamental things, and a lot of things that sometimes people are not aware of. So this is just a basic introduction. All right, so thank you again for tuning in. I have a few more announcements, and then we're going to get into the lesson. So I'll share my screen, share the announcements. There you go. Okay. All right, so here we are on YouTube. This is the Inland Empire WordPress YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search up IEWP Meetup Group. Subscribe to us because you'll be notified immediately when we're online, when we're broadcasting or live streaming, when we upload new videos. Subscribe. Here we are on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. You got a Twitter account? Follow us. Right now we're streaming live, so the new tweet, one new tweet is join us for Saturday School. So go on there and follow us on Twitter. We would greatly appreciate that. This is the Meetup group page. If you go to meetup.com, Inland Empire WP, that is where you can actually see the meetups that we've done in the past. You can view some of the images, some of the pictures from our meetups previously, and you can also RSVP for future meetups. One of the meetups that I would encourage you to RSVP for, if you are not RSVP'd yet, is the monthly meetup that's coming up this February the 2nd. And the topic of the meetup, general topic, is why I love WordPress. Come here and RSVP for our meetup. We're going to have fun. We are going to have a potluck, I believe. We actually have a speaker who's coming in, and I will be shooting out announcements for the speaker later on today. But come here and RSVP. On Facebook, if you search for Inland Empire WP Meetup, then you can like our page. This is just our Facebook page, and it's a place I push out announcements. Hopefully I'll get this more active in the future. This is our Facebook group. Oh, my bad. I thought it was our Facebook group. Here we go. Here's our Facebook group. All right, so our Facebook group is a group where you can come and have, if you have questions about your WordPress website, or if you're trying to do something, you're working on your WordPress website, the Facebook group is the place of community. And if you scroll through the group, you'll see that most of the time, people who are part of our Facebook group are either sharing resources or they're asking questions. And, this is where we meet when we're not publicly together at the actual meetup group. And then speaking of meeting in person, if you do plan to come to the meetup, then we meet at a place called Riverside IO. You can actually go to their website, riverside.io, and you can get filled in on the location. And if you wanted to join, it's a great co-working spot. If you live in the Riverside area, it's only $50 a month. Very nice, got ping pong tables, Wi-Fi, nearby restaurants. It's a nice place. Got a loft area at the top, and then an extra side room. So this is the loft area right here. This is the extra side room. This is the main room. We meet in the main room, and they have graciously given us this space to use for our meetups. And so, I mean, if you come, you know, just know that this is it's a really good spot, and you'll be comfortable. All right, WordPress.org. I want you to check out this website if you haven't. Most of you probably have, but we're working in Saturday School. We're working with WordPress.org. WordPress.org is the open source software that will allow you to create and set up your own website. You can, you know, have your own hosting and put your website on there, point your domain name to it, and publish it for the world to see. It's free, it's open source. It's a great way to build your website and your blog. If you come on this website, then also go to support documentation and check out the codex. The codex is a place that documents all of the functionality of WordPress and how to get started, and just a lot of necessary information to get you moving in the right direction. The codex is your friend. You can go very shallow or very deep within the codex. If you do come, what you most need to know about WordPress is a very good section for you to go over. Check that out. The more time you spend in the codex, the better you're going to be at setting up your own WordPress website. So I would encourage you to go there. There are also support forums. So if you go to support forums, there are support forums here. If you're not a part of the WordPress meetup group, then I would say you could come here. I would say your WordPress meetup should be your first line of defense, and then come here, because sometimes in the forums, your questions will not get answered as fast, or you'll get a more immediate attention in the meetup group or in the Facebook groups. There are a couple other Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and I'll share that with you briefly. There is a group called Advanced WP. If you are a part of this group, then there's a lot of great information about, you know, advanced setup of your WordPress. If you have more advanced questions, you think that, you know, it's just really an advanced question, go here. So check that out as well. Let's see, WordCamp Central. There are, along with the meetup groups, there are gatherings called WordCamps, and it's a conference focused around WordPress. So there are WordPress business owners who come, who really, they may not know a whole lot about WordPress, but there are also WordPress developers who are there, WordPress web designers. There's a spectrum of WordPress users that come to WordCamps. It's a weekend conference that normally, you know, lasts Friday and Saturday. The next WordCamp here in the States, in the United States, is going to be WordCamp Miami. I have a friend who's going there. Greg, actually the co-organizer of Inland Empire Meetup Group, is going to be going there. And also, if you come here, you can join the mailing list and get kind of updates and announcements from about WordCamps and things going on. If you are looking for WordPress resources to help you understand a little bit more about how WordCamps are run, the atmosphere, and what it's like, go to WordPress TV. WordPress TV is a place where most of the time videos from the actual WordCamps are uploaded. You can check this out, get a feel about what WordCamps are like. And you can also come and watch the State of the Word by Matt Mullenweg, which gives us a general overview of the state of the word. Check it out. Great resource here as well. And that is all the announcements for now. Thank you for tuning in. Next thing we're going to actually move into is the lesson for today. As I close some of these other windows. Thank you again for tuning in, whether you're tuning in live right now or you're catching a archive broadcast. Thank you, and great, your patronage is greatly appreciated. So what we're going to go back over is what we were covering last week, and last week we actually started on. Here, let me pull up our table of contents here. Here we go. So, all right. So last week we got through the WP theme setup guide, all the way to the second point here, I believe, local versus remote. We did a theme installation, a theme install last week, and we went through the workspace setup. So today we're going to start at talking a little bit about theme recommended plugins, and we're gonna move into the next section of learning WordPress and some of the fundamental things that you need to know. So that is where we are at. And with that said, I will show my actual hosting environment. All right, so I'm using desktop server for my local install. And last week, as I said, we did do a local install. And if you were on the broadcast, or if you go back to YouTube and look at the broadcast, then I believe the website we set up was Saturday School Season 2. So I'm going to visit the website right now, and let's see what's going on. And just a quick aside. Desktop server is so awesome. If you don't use it, then you will eventually be using it. I firmly believe that anyone who's developing a WordPress website locally would have to have this in their toolkit, because it just gives you the ability to do so much. And this is a list of all of my websites here, but this is the website that I installed last week. It was called Matrix, and Matrix is the theme that we use. I'm going to the dashboard currently, and I'm going to kind of go back over what we were on. Let me get through my slideshow a little bit here. And if I go to Appearance, Themes, then this is going to take me to the actual where all of my themes are, and I can see that currently this theme that is active is the Matrix theme. That's the one that I have installed. And so what I'm actually going to have to do is put this in my slideshow actually on one broadcast screen. So here we're gonna change up what we're broadcasting. I will, I'm just gonna broadcast the entire screen. This is gonna be a little psychedelic here. All right, so here we go. So we were here, we did the workspace setup last week, and we talked a little bit about that. You can review that in the YouTube video. Recommended plugins. So a professionally developed theme that is created by a knowledgeable developer will sometimes come with a theme, with theme recommended plugins. These plugins appear as notifications at the top of the dashboard after you install your free or premium theme. The majority of the time, theme recommended plugins are optional, and actually having your WordPress website run in an optimal, to actually having your WordPress website run in an optimal way. Because theme recommended plugins, they are theme recommended plugins, they will add functionality to your theme. If you have a preference for alternative plugins that perform similar functionality, you can install those plugins most times without trouble. So here's our WordPress theme that we installed last week. And at the very top, you'll see that this notification says, this theme recommends the following plugin: Photo Video Gallery Master. So I'm looking at this theme and I'm like, well, this theme that I just installed, Matrix, if I click on theme details, it'll tell me a little bit more about it here, but I'm not too concerned about that right now. I'm looking at the theme recommended plugin. Okay, do I want to install this plugin? It gives me an option: begin installing plugin, dismiss this notice. Two of these things. First thing I want to do is I want to see what this plugin is about. So this is actually a link to the plugin. I can click on this and it's going to open up a modal window for me to check out, what is this plugin about? This theme is recommending it, but do I have a plugin currently installed that already uses this or already provides this functionality? Is this plugin, created by a person who I trust? Is this a function that I don't need on my website? All of these questions can be answered just by clicking on the actual plugin and looking at the description. You can go through here. It says, okay, Photo Video Gallery Master, design various types of images, video, link gallery using this plugin. Apply animation and transition effect on photos, Photos Gallery, that's what it says, to give an attractive look. You can use this plugin to your portfolio, gallery, or videos. So obviously that should probably be edited. But you come here and you can find out the actual, what's going on with this plugin. I think for now, I'll just try it, just because it's a local install. I mean, like, if my website explodes, then I'm not too concerned, because I mean, it's on my local host. It's not live, but I probably wouldn't do this if it was live on the server. Now, look, it gives me a look at the galleries. Okay, the galleries aren't as beautiful, and I can also look at the ratings. Okay, so it's based on 2 ratings. It's got 4 stars. I mean, that's not too reputable for me. However, this theme is recommending this plugin. In reality, personally, I probably would not ever use this plugin, even if it came as a theme recommended plugin, because I know there are many plugins out there that are way better. I can even use just the default gallery functionality of WordPress, and I could use the carousel functionality from Jetpack to allow my website to be more beautiful. But I'm going to install this because my website, if it explodes, it's local. It's okay. I just activated the plugin. Okay. I just installed and activated the plugin. So I haven't activated. I'm going to activate it now. Let's see what happens. Will the notification go away? Boom. Notification is gone. I could have also got rid of that notification just by clicking the X. There's an X usually that appears on these notifications. So, you know, this is all, you know, part and parcel of setting up a theme that you're using for your website. Okay, so I just installed the photo video gallery master plugin. I mean, it's the master of all these plugins. That's a great name. But, you know, that will come down the line a little bit later. Maybe we'll look into the functionality of this plugin, and, you know, maybe we'll, hopefully we won't get spammed or like hacked because of it. Most of the time, the plugins that do come with themes they are trustworthy. There have been times in the past where plugins are actually not trustworthy, and I mean, I remember some plugins had spam in it, and it gets out across the WordPress community really fast. And those plugins that are built sometimes that have spam in them, I mean, trust is lost really fast. So it's good to stay connected to the WordPress community, because you'll know about these things very soon. And so you know, you can be on top of this type of stuff. All right, so we'll go back here. All right, cool. So we got our theme recommended plugins. Now what we're going to do is we are going to, all right, here we go. Learning WordPress. Talk a little bit about learning WordPress. So whenever you learn anything new, you need to understand the concepts that make up what you're learning. Understanding the semantics that drive the system in WordPress, and also the community that drives the technology. That's very valuable for you as you begin to understand WordPress as a whole. So we talked a little bit about, actually I mentioned briefly the codex. So the codex you can find at codex.wordpress.org. I will open the window here. We looked at this briefly. The codex are your friend. I mean, it's your friend. So go here and you can find out more about that. There is actually a link called WordPress Semantics in the Codex, which you can read through on your own time and find out a little bit more about content management, about administration in WordPress. What is a widget? What is a menu? What's the background? You know, what does it mean to be to set up users? You know, there's lots of terminology, and this is a great document in the actual codex right here. It's codex.wordpress.org, and then it's /WordPress_semantics. So WordPress_semantics. Check that out, because WordPress semantics are important. And once you know and get a good grip on the semantics, it's just going to make your life easier. It'll make your life easier as a WordPress user, administrator, or a designer or developer, all of that. And then you'll pick up on, you know, the conversations a lot quicker. Check this guide out. It's a great tool for you. All right. Excuse me. So in the community, once again, I covered a little bit of the community. If you're tuning into this broadcast, then you're tuning into part of the WordPress community, connecting with it. The intention really is to connect you. And you go to the Facebook groups that I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast as well. So what we're going to go over now is a little bit of the general settings. Clicking on the settings options on the left navigation sidebar of WordPress dashboard to access general settings. So let's go to the general settings. So right here we are in our dashboard. And if you go and just click on settings, then that's going to take you to the general settings. Boom. All right. Starts with general settings. You can come in here. This is one of the first places that you're going to come when you install your local install of WordPress. This is the first place. You can change all these basic settings from there. Make sure, well, this is just one of the tips that I give to every person setting up their WordPress. When you first install and when you first set up your WordPress website, go through the settings and read them. Go to general, read, okay, there's date, I can set the date format, I can set the time format, you know, I can set when the week starts. Go to writing. The writing is another setting. Read these settings. You may not even understand some of this stuff, but the key for you is not to understand everything. It's kind of like skimming a book. You go through and you get a grasp on what's there. You skim it once, and then you go through again, you skim it again. And eventually, you'll begin to recognize some of this stuff. You begin to understand, okay, this setting, I saw this under there. And there will be references to certain settings in future documentation of maybe a plugin or something like that, or a theme. And you'll begin to remember this stuff. And when you remember the settings and when you remember where these things are located, then, you know, I mean, like, it just gets easier. You build upon your knowledge. Like this setting right here. This is one of the settings that, you know, it's just, I mean, it's kind of inconspicuous, but it's a little bit important. Search engine visibility. Everybody wants to be seen by a search engine, right? And so sometimes, you know, if you come in here, I can't remember if by default this thing is already checked or if it's not checked, but you can enable and disable a search engine visibility, basically discourage the search engine, you know, from seeing you or not. Some search engines don't honor this, but most search engines do honor it. Right here under the reading settings, you can say, hey, I want search engines to not see me. Click the checkbox, save the changes. Search engines won't see your website. They won't begin to index your website. And that's one of those little settings, but it's found under settings reading. I mean, eventually you'll be able to recite these things like your ABCs. And then whenever you're ready to launch your website publicly, you can come in and it's like, oh yeah, I remember where that setting was. It's right under the reading settings. Now search engines, come and find me. Come and get it. All right. So check out the settings here. And then underneath discussion, you have lots of stuff here. You may not understand all of the stuff in the discussion. You may not understand threaded comments. Threaded comments are like on Facebook, where you have one comment that, you know, when it comes underneath the other comment, it's indented. So if you click on the reply button, a lot of people don't click on the reply button on Facebook. I should make a tutorial on that. But if you do click on the reply button, then you're going to get a sub comment, which is a thread, a comment thread. And you can choose how deep you want your comments to thread. You can go 5 deep, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deep. You can get 10 deep. Most of the time that's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous amount of threading, and it's not necessary. It is just not necessary to do 10 deep. You can break your comments into pages of 50. You can change that to 20 or 10. If you want your website to perform better, usually it's better to have less top-level comments per page than to have more. So if you say, oh, I want 50 top-level comments, and then, you know, they go to the next page, that would probably not perform as well as if you had 20. Say, I just want to do 20. I want the website to load up 20. And then add on top of that, caching your comments or storing a copy of your comments, which would be done through a caching plugin. then you have some major performance that will bring speed to your website, and that should be one of your goals. So make sure you go through and read all of the settings. My point is read, read, read. You may not understand, but read. You may feel lost, but read. Don't skip that part. And once you read, then you will know that you have actually, begun to grasp this information. So the next thing we're going to talk about, because we covered some of the general settings, and we talked about the tip of you reading your settings, because a lot of people do not read. The next thing you want to do, well, I'm just going to talk a little bit about recommendations. So, yeah, you want to read every settings, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's kind of repeat right there. So here are some of the keys to actually getting it. The next part is we're just going to talk a little bit about the keys to getting it in general, like getting your website set up and stuff like that. Theme options. Okay. The theme options are entirely dependent on the theme you choose. So
ready.
Those will change. And welcome to the broadcast, guys. If you go, like, let's go back here. If you're on the Saturday School, we're going back to the Saturday School Season 2 website.
Okay.
Underneath appearance,
there we go.
themes,
okay, let's go ahead and start it.
you can click there. And so once you're underneath appearance themes, you to get to the theme settings, you would need to go to well, actually there's the customizer. So on some themes there are theme settings, and let me go over this really quick. So theme options are they're an archaic way of changing the design of free and premium themes without touching the code. So sometimes there are the theme options, and then sometimes there is the customizer. You will still find the theme options in many themes, but they will eventually disappear from most themes. Okay, so eventually the theme options are going to disappear from most themes. The new standard. I think this is a typo. The new standard that will eventually be adopted by all themes is the theme customizer, the customizer. And so let's go to look at this theme, the matrix theme. So underneath here we have themes, and then we have customize. I click on customize, and this is going to take me to a screen where I can change practically anything about this matrix website kind of on the fly and get a real life preview of what I'm changing. So this is the matrix theme, and we're on the customizer under appearance customize. That's where you're going to go, appearance customize. And this right here, as you can see, it's a little bit extensive, and we're just gonna cover a few of the things within the customizer. So we have the general options, as we had just walked through a little bit of, going to the general settings. Those actual settings can be found in here as well. So I can change here. I can change several things. They have an image logo width, the logo font size. I could change, let's just change the logo font size to 33. If you see on the screen, it actually changed in real time. That font up there changed to 30. Let's just make it some ridiculous size right here. So it's 42, it's too big. I mean, it's not even actually changing the font size anymore. So I'm gonna actually, I'm gonna leave it at like 31, okay? And then I'm going to save that, publish it. And then it says upload a logo image. Okay, so let's just find a quick logo, okay? And this is cool because it's more user friendly. The customizer is a way to, I like the customizer. there's been a lot of dispute in the WordPress community about, how, like how it should go or what is the way that it should go. But I like the customizer, and so I don't care how much conflict has been over it. I think that it's a valuable tool, and so now I'm adding I'm going to add a logo. Okay, so I'm trying to find a logo. This looks like a very nice logo. You guys might recognize this logo. You may not, but this is a very nice logo. I'll use this, and it's my logo for my business, Velocity. Choose the image, boom. I just changed it, and unfortunately, it's not showing up. So I'm just going to leave it there for now because I might figure out something a little bit later. In order to get that there, I may need to actually customize this theme. I may need to actually go in with CSS, which would mean, like, because our goal in this course is that you don't have to touch a lick of code. So what that would mean is that you might want to change themes, and we can do that. We can change themes readily, and the goal of this course is to allow you to edit your theme without having to touch code. And we don't want you to touch code. We don't want you to know. We want you to know CSS. We want you to know all of these things, but we don't want you to have to go in and learn it all if you don't want to. So I'm going to jump back here, and the customizer just dropped. Excuse me. But I'm going to jump back into the customizer again, and we'll go through a few more settings, and then we'll move on to something else. All right. So back in the customizer, I'm not sure why the customizer dropped out, but we're going to go to the colors, and let's just change the header color to something crazy like red. Let's just see what's going on, because it just seems like, there it is. Actually, let's do man, fuchsia. Fuchsia is a beautiful color. Let's see, can we get fuchsia? All right, just something ridiculous. Okay, it's hard to see. It's the worst readability you'll have ever. I don't recommend you do anything like this for your website, because people will not like you. All right, so I just changed the header background, and then also changed the background color. I mean, we got a pretty rad website here, and this is the theme customizer. You got lots of options. You can change the header image, the background image, menus, widgets, static, front page, all of this. We'll go through this in a little bit more detail later, but we'll close the customizer for now, and going to go back to the administrative area. But what we're going to do is actually go to our next slide. All right, so theme options, that's the first thing. The customizer. Okay, so here we didn't have theme options in the theme that we have currently activated, but we do have the customizer, and we just went through the customizer, and I'll just read your definition from the developer handbook. The customizer is a framework for live previewing any change to WordPress. It provides a simple and consistent interface for users to customize various aspects of their theme and their site, from colors to layouts to widgets, menus, and more. Themes and plugins alike can add custom options to the customizer. The customizer is the canonical way to add options to your theme. So this is the transition that's going on right now in the WordPress community as well, where the main focus or the main push of how you customize your website is no longer using an options framework or like theme options or something like that. There are certain options frameworks that are out there that are very nice, and I've used them on different sites, but all of that is changing. In the future, it's going to be in the customizer. So feel safe and secure in knowing that you're learning the most up-to-date techniques here. Post types. Okay, so there are normally 5 post types in WordPress, and that's just by default. By default, there are 5 post types. You have the post type, you have the page post type, you have the attachment post type, the revision post type, and then you have a navigation menu post type. Most people probably don't think of the nav menu as a post type, but it is a post type. And you can also create custom post types for specifically targeted content. So let's say audio, video, portfolio, and using these post types and custom post types in a proper way will help you to manage your content more efficiently. So if I were to go back to our Saturday School website, then we see that we have Photo Video Gallery Master plugin that we installed. That was a recommended plugin. However, it's also a post type. I commend this plugin company because they did not include this into their theme. Instead, they made it a plugin, a theme recommended plugin. I probably will not end up using this Photo and Video Gallery Master, but we'll just have a brief look at it as well. So let's start with the first post type that we mentioned, the post type. All right, so with the post type, normally posts are used for blogs and for blogging and creating a log of entries that is time-stamped and that will move you, kind of through time. So right now, currently, we have Hello World is our first post. We can actually hover over Hello World here in the back end, and we can see what's called a quick edit menu. We have the edit button, which will take us to the full editor. We have quick edit button, which will give us a quick editor, and you only get to change some basic information, not the main content of the post. We have the trash button. You can throw this post away. We have a view button. We can actually view the post. So if I go to Hello World and view this post, this is the first post on our WordPress website, Hello World. And man, look, those are some rad colors. So this is the post type. Normally, it's usually the front page of the website by default. Currently, there it is. So I'm here on the front page of the website, and by default, you have your blog entry. You have a post, a blog post. You have a title. You have a timestamp, January 23rd, last Saturday when we created this. You have some metadata information that is dependent upon the theme developer, how this information looks. You have the author information by various. The theme creator determines all of this. And if I click go there, then like any other audience, let's say I'm visiting your website, I would be able to comment. The first comment here is Mr. WordPress, but I want to leave a comment. I say, rad, dude. All right, so I can submit my message. Most blogs that are public are probably going to have some type of spam protection or something to keep their website from being spammed and hacked. So anyway, this is the post type. You find that under post in the dashboard. You can view all posts. You can add new. You can add categories and tags. We'll talk about that a little bit later. If you want to add a new post, click Add New here at the top. And you can say, let's just say New Post. And then we'll just say hello. We just created a new post. We're going to click Publish here on the right side. It's going to make it go public. And then we'll go back out to the website and we'll see that we just published the actual post. I could click on view posts here, but I want to go to the front of the website on our, like at the very front. So I don't want to go to the actual post. So I'm going to go home, click on this logo. And it's terrible. I need to change the color of that font. So we have Hello World, and then we have new posts. These are two posts. This is the post type. All right. So the next post type we are covering is going to do with page. And pages are different in the sense that you are able to create static. They're mostly static. They're not time stamped. And we're just going to briefly cover this because we're going to get more in depth into these options on post and page later. Pages, I can click. Right now we got a sample page. I can click on view, and it's going to take me, if I open it in a new tab, to the actual sample page that's already been created. And this sample page is just going to give me an example of, it looks almost like a post, except it doesn't have a date on here. So we don't have a date. We don't have an author name on this page. And it appears, okay, I'm actually going to go really quick and change the color of this font and the color of this background because I have annoyed myself. And and so let me go here really quick, and I'm going to change that because that's so hard to read. Appearance, themes. Okay, so I'm sorry, appearance, customize. I'm going to go to the customizer, change this because, it's just not good. So if I go to the customizer, I can go back here, and I can go to site identity. Actually, let's go back. Let's go to colors. Change the site color up. Boom. Just going to do just some basic color here. All right, cool. That's a lot better. Okay, readability is fundamental when you're creating a website. All right, so I'm going to refresh this, and now I'll see that my page, that sample page, is actually here in the top. If I wanted to create a new page, then because I have not created a menu yet, that new page should appear here at the top. Later on, we're going to go through menus, and we're going to talk about how to place menus, and we're going to talk about menu locations. We're going to talk about all that. So we're going to create, right now, we're going to create a sample page 2. In order to create a page, in the administrative area, I go to page, and I go add new. Or I can go to this administrative bar at the top, and I can click new or hover over new and click page. Either way will allow me to create a page. So I'm going to create sample page 2. And because it took so long for me to type that out, my permalink has been set automatically to sample/PA. I don't want that. I want sample page 2, so I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to click this edit button here, and I will just simply paste this in here. I don't need to worry about hyphens. I don't need to worry about making this lowercase because WordPress will automatically do that for me. So I click OK, and we got our sample page 2, and then I'm just going to say, this is sample page 2. Now this should automatically be loaded to my menu because I have not created a menu yet, and most themes will allow me to do that. So I'm going to click publish, and I publish this page. I can click on view page, or I can just go back out to the tab that I was actually at. And right now we have home, sample page. If I refresh this page, then I should get another page called sample page 2 at the top in the navbar. And there we have it. So it's sample page 2. Right here, I click on it, and this is another page, sample page 2. And that is the page post type. We won't go too in depth to it yet, but later we will. The attachment post type. So whenever you're creating posts, you have the option to add media to the post, and that media becomes an attachment. So it could be any type of media. It could be an MP3 file. It could be a zip file. It could be a PDF file. There really is no limit. So for instance, let's just say I uploaded the logo earlier, but I want to upload some other type of media to the sample page too, and I want to add it to this page. I want to be sure that it actually is on this page. So what I could do is I could just add an attachment, and I'll just attachment just to show you that I can do any type of attachment. I'm just going to use the swirl pattern zip. This is just a background pattern that I had that I was using on a client's website. It's a zip file, and whenever I upload it, it gives me details here on the right. It says, okay, here are the attachment details. It's a zip file. This is the URL where it can be found. The title is this. You can change that if you want to. And then you could say, you know, how do you want to display it? Link it to, you know, what are the display settings, you know, when you insert it into a post or a page. You don't want to, do you want to link it to nothing? Do you want to link it to the media file, the actual file, the zip file? Or do you want to link it to the attachment page? So take a person to an actual separate page. Well, if I just wanted somebody to download this directly from the site, I could just say media file. And then I'll say insert into page. All right, so there we go. We got this swirl pattern now on this page. And I'm just going to click update. And once I update, I can go back out to sample page 2 and refresh. And now I have swirl pattern there. If I click on that, then it links directly to the zip file and it's attached to this page. Now, you know, that is very convenient. Now, if I also go to the media library, I can look at the files that are inside of the library, and the swirl pattern index is actually one of the files right here. But I can also click on a different view. There's like a list view versus a block view or a thumbnail view, and it tells me where this attachment is uploaded to. What is it attached to? It's saying now that this swirl pattern.zip is attached to sample page 2, and that's where it is attached to. So let's say you have a ton of media already uploaded into your media library, and you got all of this media, and you just, you know, like, you don't know, and you got a ton of pages. The bigger your website gets, the more confusing it could be. You could actually come to the media library and you can find out where this file is attached to. This file, the logo, is not attached to anything. It's not on any page. It's supposed to be set up as a logo, but the theme is currently, it's not set up that way, or maybe I just missed something. Anyway, these are attachment post types. And then you have a revision post type, and I'll show you that. So as you're editing your files, let's say you're on the post. Let's go back to the post. And you're editing your post. Let's go to the new post that we created. By default, revisions are set up on your WordPress website. Currently, I don't see any revisions, but they may not be visible. So I can come up here and I can see, I see trackbacks, custom fields, discussion, author comments. So I don't see anything yet, but let me start typing a little bit. Blah, 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 blah. Revisions are saved every I believe it's every 2 minutes. And maybe I disable revisions on here. But they're a way for you to actually have a backup of your content. And by default, WordPress auto saves revisions. Let's see. Okay, so I'm typing. So revisions are just a way for you to kind of have a backup. And if I go back, let's see. Okay, here we go. So you see, we say draft saved. The editor tells me that there was a draft that was just saved at this time. I need to change the time zone on this site because it's actually a little bit, it's off. It's not a Pacific time where I want it to be. And so, but it did save a revision and it saved a draft. Now, if I were to navigate away from here without saving it, that draft has been saved. Now, if I were to go back, and let's go back to the new post. I did save a draft. So here it is. Here's the auto save of the draft that WordPress had saved. And that's, I guess that's what you would actually call an auto save. And these are your revisions. So that's a post type as well. It's automatically saved for you though. The next thing that I want to cover as far as post types is going to be your navigation menu. And this is really the final thing we're probably going to cover today. And the navigation menu in and of itself is a post type. In order to get to your navigation menu, you should go under Appearance, Menus, click on Menus. And you can create a new menu simply by clicking on Create New Menu here, or you can just type a name in here, and we'll just create a new menu called Primary, which is normally the first menu that I normally create. It's called Primary. Then click on Create Menu. And once I create that primary menu, then it gives me the ability to add things to my menu structure. I can add current pages that are already created. I can add posts to my menu. This is an option to add posts. And then if I click on this one, I can create a custom link. And this is a post type in and of itself. So what I'm just going to do, just throw a few links in here. I'll throw one page, I'll throw one post, and then I'll also throw a custom link on here. All right, and so I can throw any of these links in here, save the menu, and it is in itself its own post type. Now, I would also need to say which location I want the menu to be in. We'll go into this in more detail, but I'm saving that there. Primary goes into the primary location. And if I go out and refresh the home page, then this tab is actually kind of old. But now the new tab shows that I have the sample page. I can navigate to the sample page. I can navigate to the new post. This is actually a post in the menu bar as well. And then I also have the custom link, Google, that I created. And I can navigate to Google, all from the sample link are all from the primary navigation bar that I just created. It is an attachment. It is a post type. So next week, we're going to go over page templates. We have probably about 10 minutes left at this moment. And I would like to know if there are any questions currently for what's going on, for what we talked about. Hey, Greg, welcome in. Let's see, are there any questions? I need to go ahead and check this chat board to see if there were any questions. Because this is we're just kind of wrapping it up today. Today we covered a lot. We actually started with, where did we start at? We started with theme recommended plugins, went all the way through learning WordPress. We went through general settings, we went through recommendations, and then we started on some of the keys to getting it. We went through the theme options. We went through post types. I'm sorry, the customizer. Post types is where we have ended. Excuse me. Page templates is next week. And I'm going to stop sharing here. Do we have questions? Any questions? I was not able to catch any questions as we were going, but do we have any questions currently? Greg, you got anything you want to add to this? Let's see. All right, unfortunately, I think I somehow muted you, but it is 10:07 right now, and we're going to continue on this next week. We're going to continue on learning some of these fundamentals and basics on next Saturday School. Continue to go through the guide, and if you have questions, you can feel free to send your questions to us via Facebook chat that we showed you earlier, or the Facebook group that we showed you earlier. You can go to the actual website, and I will share that one more time. You can actually go to the actual website here on Saturday School. You can go to this website, and you can actually go to the contact form and send your questions in this way as well. And I look forward to hopefully seeing most of you guys at the meetup coming February 2nd at Riverside IO. This is the address, 3976 Market Street, Riverside, California. This is my number. You can actually text message me, call me if you got problems arriving to the meetup, or if you have any trouble finding the place. We'll do our best to help you. And come join us. This meetup, we're going to actually have a guest speaker come in, and I've confirmed it. He is going to make it. And we're talking about, the general topic is why I love WordPress. Of course, you got the month of February, you got Valentine's month and everything going on. And so we're going to talk about why we love WordPress. And our guest speaker this month, I will be pushing out the announcement. His name is Greg, not Greg Franklin. And yes, the dinner. We also going to have dinner. And we may have some surprise for you guys as far as like some treats. But we are going to have dinner beforehand. I believe, we actually were at a restaurant recently, and it was, a great restaurant, but we kind of unanimously agreed that we're looking for a new spot. So we may end up organizing another potluck this week. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if somebody wants to do a potluck, if people want to do a potluck. And if so, I kind of like the idea of a potluck. I like the idea of people bringing food. Yeah, and we could probably look for another location as well. So we're looking around, and stay tuned. Gonna make some announcements really soon via the meetup.com website and via the Facebook group, and hopefully you guys can join us. So we look forward to having all of you there this February 2nd. That's right, February 2nd. Yep, looking at my calendar. That's right, February 2nd. So other than that, I have nothing else for today, and I'll see you guys on the Meetup group or Facebook or in person soon. And thanks for joining, and have a great day.